My sister and I spent 3 weeks driving the Carretera Austral in northern Patagonia in November 2022. We spent 19 nights camping and 1 night in a hotel and covered over 1,600 miles in our rental car that Leah affectionately named the Peanut Butter Jelly Doctor. The car might have sustained some minor damage. The trip was filled with adventure, unreal scenery, and lots of dust. So between just past Chaitan in the north and Calera Tortel in the south, here is our top 10 of northern Patagonia. Number 10 is Ventisquero Colgante. Starting out with a suspension bridge over the Rio Ventisqueros, the hike to Ventisquero Colgante winds through lush green forest with ferns and vines draped over every surface. The hike description promised the hike would be muddy, but we were essentially wading through stream beds since it had rained all night and would rain for the duration of our hike. A ventisquero is an area in the mountains where snow accumulates and forms a hanging glacier up in the air. Ventisquero Colgante offers a vertical drop waterfall that can be viewed either from the end of a short hike or from the laguna below. Travelers to northern Patagonia frequently include it in their lists of favorite views, and the view is stunning, almost a painting of a very foreign landscape. We were very lucky on this raining day. 10 minutes after we made it to the top, clouds had rolled in and obscured the view. Number 9 is meeting other travelers. Northern Patagonia is a destination that attracts adventure-minded travelers from across the world, so it's a great opportunity to share travel stories and swap tips to help others enjoy this beautiful destination. Immediately, we met a group from Seattle who graciously swapped rental cars with us to fix an error with the rental car company. Thanks, fellow travelers. Our rafting mates were super fun and also a wealth of information since they had already traveled to many of the destinations we were planning to visit. And talking with travelers from within South America was fun with an added language challenge. Though most spoke very good English, we tried to include as much Spanish as we could. Here we met some kind veterinarians from Santiago who were out fishing while taking a break from a conference. At the hot springs, I had an extended conversation with a woman from northern Chile and a woman from Germany. Between our 3 languages and a lot of laughter, we were able to enjoy one another's company. Biking the length of the Carretera Austral is very popular, so we encountered lots of cyclists during the trip. Max was from California. We first met him by Volcan Chaitan. Then 13 days later, we ran into him at a restaurant down south. It was fun to hear how he and his bike were faring on the road trip. Though most of the travelers were European, we continued to meet people from the Pacific Northwest too. Kelly and David were from Oregon and kindly snapped this photo of us at Ventisquero Colgante. Most of the private camps have a refugio, a common indoor space for cooking and escaping the weather. You'll hear a variety of languages spoken inside the refugios. We met some hilarious Canadian women at our camp at Cerro Castillo who joked about their husbands being too broken for backpacking. They gave us a lot of great backpacking tips for when we are back in the US and Canada. Near Cerro Castillo was also the first time we actually had space in our car to pick up hitchhikers. Hitchhiking is very common in this area and very safe. We gave a man from Italy a lift to the trailhead and later drove another German back up to Coyhaique. Number 8 is wild camping. In this part of Patagonia, camping is generally permitted almost anywhere, literally on the side of a river by the side of the road. These are all pictures taken of our wild camping spots. No park fees, no established campsites, and sometimes no one else nearby. We camped closer to water than I have done anywhere else, and fortunately, our camps were mostly bug-free. The proximity to water did make it easy to filter and keep a constant supply in our rental car. There were some nights that we ended up sleeping in our car instead of pitching a tent, but even then, we were in beautiful places with beautiful views. Number 7 is bird watching. I picked up a new hobby when I was in Chile. Now, I liked birds before, but during this trip, I became absolutely obsessed. We spent hours watching birds, and there were a lot of them, and often they were very, very close to us. I could literally do an entire video about birdwatching, but it would be pretty boring because all of my photos and videos were shot on my iPhone, and they're not great. So here are some of the highlights, and I figured I'd just list all of the different types of birds we saw, roughly in chronological order from the time we were able to identify them. A turkey vulture, a black vulture, black-faced ibis, including this flock that flew alongside our car for about a mile. A black-necked swan, austral parakeet, lots of austral parakeets, and they make just as big of a racket as the scrub jays back in Oregon. This flock pretty much refused to get out of the road in front of our car. Patagonian sierra finch, austral thrush, ashy-headed goose, southern lapwing, they were all over, and I swear one of them was taunting Leah. There were some chicks at one of our campsites, and the parents were on high alert for anything getting close to their babies. Chilean flicker, buff-winged cinclodes, black-chinned siskin, grassland yellow finch, Chilean swallow, those were one of my favorites, long-tailed meadowlark, crested caracara, upland goose, austral blackbird, spectacled tyrant, white-throated caracara, gray-hooded sierra finch, coscoroba swan, Andean condor, white-crested alania, Chilean flamingo, another favorite, common miner, austral negrito, house wren, austral pygmy owl, which we were so excited to see, a striped woodpecker, ring-necked pheasant, a few Magellanic woodpeckers. This one couldn't have cared less that we were within 10 feet away. Some house sparrow, and a black-throated wet-wet. Absolutely the most comical bird we saw. Just look at those eyes. Number 6 is Rafting the Futaleufú. We took the 4-hour bridge-to-bridge tour with Patagonia Elements. Our raft mates came from Scotland and the Netherlands, so English was the common language, which made it easy for us to understand our rafting guides. Right here, Christian is telling us, if you fall off the raft this rapid, swim to the right bank. Futaleufú means large river in the local indigenous language, and it's a very fitting name. The Rio Futaleufú is 65 miles of glacial snowmelt featuring class 3 through 5 rapids. The river is fast-moving and deep and sometimes terrifying. In the sunlight, the water is a bright blue-green between lush forests and basalt gorges. It was raining during our entire trip, but beautiful nonetheless. Thankfully, no one fell off our raft and we all had an amazing time. Here's the taste of the excitement. Follow the link to continue the countdown to number 1.